so many women crave freedom, but secretly fear that love, responsibility, commitment, that'll cost them that freedom. You're listening to Say It Anyway, the podcast for ambitious women done with holding back. I'm your host, Maggie Sisu, and here we talk courage, self-trust, and how to live like you mean it, even when it scares the hell out of you. Oh my gosh, it's been quite a week, I have to tell you. First of all, okay, first and foremost, can we just be excited because I got a stand sit desk situation? Like, like I actually press the button and it electronically goes up and down, which is so cool because before I had a sit stand, but really it was just like this wood plank thing I sat on top of my desk and I called it a standing desk. So A, yay, excited for that. B, it's I have to tell you, I filmed this podcast yesterday and I did it like two times, maybe even three times, because hi, I'm a recovering perfectionist. But guess what? The mic wasn't connected to any of the episode recordings. So here we are. Let's go. We're doing it again. You just gotta learn to go with the flow. And yeah. But yeah, it's just been a week. It's just crazy to me because I feel like I've learned so much about myself over the past few years. Like I've been deeply rooted in personal development. I'm always like, learning about myself and growing. And it's so funny that, when you're in that place, I feel like the breakthroughs and the transformations kind of come less frequently. But when they do, it's so cool, right? Like, and honestly, they're there. I think you just got to slow down and really be willing to reflect. And, for example, if there's a conflict, like how did I respond? How did I react? What was coming up for me? Things that trigger you, places where you still get defensive, because the insights are there. They are available. But this week I had a really good one, and that's what I want to share with you guys. My my fiance, he works full time, but he's like a really passionate, creative, entrepreneurial guy. And on the side, he hosts a local jazz radio show. And he's looking to expand that. So we were talking about options for him, and he was thinking like, would it be cool to be able to go curate jazz at like events and like set up and do that live and have gigs and stuff like that. And I'm like 100% so supportive. And I think that this man can do anything that he wants to do. And he has the Midas touch. Like whatever he does turns to gold. He's amazing. Uh, but in the conversation, he had just gone off a bit like a call with this business guy, and the business guy was amped for him. He was excited, and so James was super hyped and excited. And he comes and he's talking to me about it, and I could feel a little bit like something coming up inside of me. My body was kind of tensing, and I started having like all these thoughts and kind of worries because I was like, this is gonna take a lot of time, especially on the weekend. James has a daughter. Like, who's gonna go pick up Amelia? She's now moved like 30 minutes away from us, so she's even further. Like, if he's doing a gig, now that's gonna be on me, and I'm starting to worry, right? And it's not that I don't want him to be happy, but all I'm thinking about is like, oh, how's this gonna affect me? Like what about my weekend? What about Sunday mornings? Those are special. Those are sacred times for me. Like I don't want to have to go and get Amelia. I want to like have that time for me. It's my quiet time, my reflection time, yada yada yada. Right? And it sounds small, but what I noticed underneath that reaction was this like almost instinctive resistance coming up to support him. And I could see him deflating in front of me, and that hurt to see. And I was sort of surprised at myself, like as I was reflecting on this afterwards, because I want to be supportive to him. I want that to be naturally instinctive. Don't worry, I got you. I'll get Amelia, whatever it is you need, I got you. Because I love him. I love this man. So why did I feel like this was somehow threatening to my sense of freedom? Like, why does supporting, helping someone else I love feel like I'm losing something? And that small moment like cracked something inside of me. And it showed me that deep down, I still associate love and support with self-sacrifice. that being needed somehow means I'm going to lose myself. There's this deeper fear that if I commit too much, I'll lose myself. And I know I'm not the only one. So many women crave freedom, but secretly fear that love, responsibility, commitment, that'll cost them that freedom. Why does it being needed or giving support feel like being consumed? And I think to get a little bit of context on this, I kind of need to explain a bit of where this comes from for me. Like I grew up as a first generation kid in Middle Eastern home, and my parents love me, no doubt, right? But their love also kind of came with these rules and these conditions because they had their own beliefs, their own cultural values, their own, experiences, right? And they sacrificed so much to give us a good life. And so their expectations, though, were rooted and shaped by their own fear, their own, life experiences, their own values. And I learned that love and closeness required conformity, that I had to give up pieces of myself to feel connected, that I had to be who they needed me to be instead of being who I actually was. Like to them, being good meant, and being a good daughter meant always being respectful. Like we respect your elders, no matter what, you don't question them. It meant being grateful, always being grateful for their sacrifices, not making waves, not disappointing, not being too sensitive or bringing shame to the family name. Like that's a big one, right? Like in our culture, reputation is everything. You are not you. You are an extension of your family. You represent the family. And so, with that, all of that, that meant sacrificing my own needs to keep the peace and keep my parents happy and to feel like, that love and approval and that I belonged. Like I was sacrificing my need to be able to fully express myself, like my big emotions, my anger, my frustration, the unfairness, like being able to speak my mind without worrying it would cause conflict or be labeled as disrespectful or ungrateful. Like I remember, getting ready for school and going downstairs for breakfast, and I remember being so angry with my dad at something, right? There's always something. Being angry with him. And I was still expected to show him love and respect, give him a kiss, say good morning, even though I was seething inside and I didn't want to talk to him, you know? Or even just like wanting to have my own privacy as teenagers do, wanting to be able to shut the door of my room. Like I was saying, my parents thought that was weird. Like I shouldn't shut the door. That somehow me wanting privacy and closed doors, or even being able to get a lock on my door. They didn't want me to have that for a while. That like somehow was me being like disrespectful or ungrateful, you know? And with that, like growing up in that environment, there was also this pressure to blend in. Don't stand out too much. Like, what are they going to think? Kind of going back to the whole reputation is everything. So I was constantly monitoring myself because I was also, silently tasked with this job of being the image manager between my two cultures, right? Between my Middle Eastern home and being American and being in Western schools and hanging out with American kids. Like I was constantly switching how I was based on my setting and who I was around and managing how me and my family were perceived and adjusting myself so I could fit in so that, my parents seemed normal to the other kids, like they weren't too strict or whatever, right? And then making sure that my American ways were modest and respectful to my parents, like trying to come across that way in terms of like how I chose to dress, who I was going to hang out with and what I was doing, or if I was going to, if I wanted to post to social media or even set boundaries, like if I wanted to just go and hang out with my friends, like say on a New Year's Eve. Like New Year's Eve, like that's a lot of kids go and hang out with their friends during New Year's Eve. But my parents were like, no, you hang out with family, which I can appreciate now. But as a teenager, it was so frustrating and annoying. And there was a part of me that felt like I needed to over explain or felt guilty if I wanted that. And so there was this constant like go between. I was carrying the expectations of both sides and wanting to appease both sides, like my friends and my social life and my family, and honor like our culture and our traditions, and make sure that both sides you know, didn't feel misunderstood or misrepresented. So I learned to read the room and adjust so that everyone felt comfortable. And so I learned belonging means behaving. Love means performing, adjusting, being a chameleon of sorts. And that's where I really started to lose my truth. See, when I think back, support doesn't mean what it does now. Support meant responsibility, it meant emotional labor. Like it meant carrying more than what was mine, suppressing my emotions, being a good daughter who was perfect and complied, or at least pretended to make things easier on my parents and have peace in my home. It meant being the cultural bridge, the image manager, always calculating, adjusting, being hyper vigilant of, how I was coming across and what information I was sharing with either side, constantly trying to control how much either side knew. And that control would make me feel safe or illusion of safety, right? So over time, I learned and I taught my body that support equals self-abandonment. Love equals performance. Closeness equals obligation. And maybe you didn't grow up in a first gen home, but maybe you might get this anyway. That maybe you grew up in a family where being good meant keeping everyone happy, keeping the peace, where love was there and it was real, but it was also somewhat conditional, where you learned you had to stay calm, you had to stay agreeable, you had to be easy to love. Like maybe you were the peacemaker, the fixer, the overachiever. Different homes, same lesson, right? Like love has rules, belonging has a cost. And to keep connection, sometimes you had to lose yourself. So fast forward now, I'm an adult, and this is how that pattern has played out. And see if you can see yourself in this too, right? The over editing, shape shifting, people pleasing, the perfectionist in order to be likable, to be impressive, to fit in, downplaying, how you really feel, what you really want, having to be the strong one, independent, not be too much. It could show up in seeking validation through achievement, feeling restless, overworking, never feeling like enough, needing to get it right to be worthy of love. And the big one, and how this pattern is now showing up, at least for me, with me and James, that I crave deep love and connection, but I'm afraid to lose myself in it. It's not about supporting him because I want to do that. It's my body remembering an old story. If I give too much, if I get too close, that comes with obligation. And if I overgive, then I'll disappear. I'll disappear into someone else's orbit, someone else's needs, someone else's expectations. Now, here's what I'm learning, and honestly, unlearning. Being in relationship with someone, being close, being committed, supportive, it doesn't mean I have to lose myself. I don't need to earn love by overgiving or biting my tongue, suppressing how I feel to be chill and not cause conflict. I don't have to lose myself by shrinking to make other people comfortable or performing to be liked instead of just being real. It's not having to be afraid that if I show who I really am, then I'll lose love and connection and belonging. Love and connection doesn't have to limit or constrain me. I can have choice and boundaries within my relationships. Just because someone needs my support, it's not all or nothing. I don't have to carry a weight of obligation or feel like it's taking away from me. I don't have to love and support them out of guilt or fear of disapproval or losing love. I have a choice and I can choose to be there out of love, not fear. Here's what that looks like in practice, and feel free to use this for yourself. If any of this is resonating, okay? 5 steps here. Ready? 1, Acknowledge the old protector with compassion. When you feel resistance, you say, hey, I see you. Thank you. I know you're just trying to keep me safe. And that alone softens the intensity in the moment. 2, practice small experiments of being flexible. Okay. Remind yourself it's not all or nothing. When you commit, when you give, like you can try on a new response. That's all it is. Just see how it feels. Like for me. Okay, hey, yeah, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. I'll go get Amelia. Like whatever you need. Just trying it on. Okay? 3, reframe support as a choice. This is a big one. Reframe support as a choice, not an obligation. You can have freedom within commitment. Okay. I'm doing this because I want to support him feels different than I have to. I should. This is what a good partner would do. That reframes love from costing you your freedom to being a space where you choose how you show up in love. 4, release it in your body. If you feel that tension coming up, pinpoint it wherever it is in your body. Like for me, a lot of times it's behind the knees. So, like, get up, stretch, shake it out, breathe, get that energy out, and remind yourself, I'm safe. I'm not actually trapped. 5, give yourself grace. This is a lifelong practice. Like, you are unlearning a survival pattern, not just changing a behavior. So, give yourself the time and space to unlearn and grow through that. So, if any of this hits, maybe you've lived a version of it too. You know, maybe you've been the fixer, the caretaker, the achiever, the one who holds it all together. And maybe you've loved people so deeply that you forgot to include yourself in that love. And if that's the case, here's your reminder. You don't have to choose between connection and authenticity. You don't have to choose between giving and supporting and meeting your needs. You can support others without losing yourself. You can be committed and free. You can have choice in commitment. Freedom isn't found in being unattached or uncommitted. It's found in learning how to stay connected without abandoning yourself. Here's to loving yourself and loving others without disappearing. Hey girl, thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, spread the love. Maybe share it with a friend or drop a comment. I'd love to know what landed for you. And remember, your voice matters. Whatever you're holding back, say it anyway.